Welcome back to the Final K. We have got Liege Bastogne Liege live at the moment. We're into the final 100 kilometers, and seems to be coming back to normal-ish. There was a lot that did happen at the start of the day, but it seems to be coming back to normal at the moment. You know, we did have the crash at the start of the day. I think it was Ian Izagiri and Van Drame from Jayco. They both crashed and caused a massive split in the peloton. There was... Hello, Joe. But it caused a massive split in the peloton, and there was, I think it was more than 50 riders went up the road, including Evenepoel and Egan Bernal. But I'm trying to think, was there anyone else? Evenepoel had his teammate Nico Denz, but I think that the gap hit a maximum of like 4 minutes with Pogačar and Sexas in the peloton at the back. So it seems to be coming back to normal at the moment, as Evenepoel is currently 18 seconds in front of the peloton now. Good morning, Kat. Good morning. So we will see what happens here. But I was thinking of going live a bit earlier, but then I thought there's no way this group is making it. The peloton will come back together at some point, so I'll just go live from 100 kilometers out and see how that goes. But I will go through the groups nonetheless, because there is still a group of 4 out the front, 40 seconds up the road. So Evenepoel's in group 2. But the group out the front is Alexander Kamp of Uno X, Pascal Einkorn of Quickstep. Then we've got Limrezi of Picnic Post. And then we've got Hugo Huel of Alpecin. 30, I think Evenepoel's been caught maybe. The group off Evenepoel had the likes of Novak from UAE, so that was the only UAE teammate in the group with Evenepoel. The only team that wasn't in the group was Decathlon. They were the only team that didn't have a rider in that front group the whole day. But the group included the likes of Novak, Evenepoel, there was Carlos Verona and Bernard of Little Trek, Husing of Visma. Then we'd had Alan Hatherley and Helmoza from Jayco, Bax and Quinton Hermans from Quickstep. Oh, not Quickstep. I always call them Quickstep. Q36. Michael Leonard and Vanderlee of EF Education. Then we had other riders such as Guillaume Martin from Groupama FDJ United. We had De Plus and Bernal from Ineos, Ulissi from Astana, Magnus Kort Nielsen from Uno X, as well as Andreas Leknesson. We had Dylan Van Barle, Marco Frigo from the Amstel Gold Race, if you remember him, Baptiste Weisstroffer as well, Van de Broek, Frank Van de Broek, and then just other riders. But every team had a rider in the breakaway at the start of the day except Decathlon. But they're showing the peloton now. I think Evenepoel has been caught at this point. No, it still says peloton's group 3, so I don't know the gap for the peloton. Do I have a favourite team? Good question. I like a lot of teams. I'd say if I had to pick a favourite team, I'd probably go with Little Trek, to be honest. I like quite a lot of their riders. I like Pedersen, Milan, Ayuso. So I probably would go with Little Trek, but I like Decathlon, I like Ineos. And I like a lot of teams, but if I had to pick a team, I guess I would go with Little Trek. No 0 kilometer coverage from Peacock, started at 160, not happy about that. Yeah, I noticed that TNT didn't have it either, because TNT, they stuck up on their... Because I woke up and looked at Instagram and it said massive breaking news for the Liège, and I was like, oh no, what have I missed? And it said Egan Bernal and Evenepoel are up the road and they've got such and such time, and I was like, oh, you're kidding me. And then I looked at the comments and all the people were saying, we'd like to see this live, please. Can we see this live? And so I went on and checked, and they weren't showing it till I think it was about half an hour, 45 minutes later from that point. Can I show the live video? I would love to, but then I would get taken down, and I don't really want that, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I think a lot of people weren't happy with the fact that they missed the crash, which then caused the split. I think it was I don't know if it was the crash that caused the split. That's what TNT said on their Instagram. So I don't know if that was, because I scrolled back on PCS to see who was in the crash. I was expecting a massive pile up. There was only 2 riders, and I think it was Van Drame and Ian Izagiri. I remember seeing. But Hugo Huel of Alpecin joins the front 4 to make it a front 5 now. Evenepoel has been caught by the peloton, so the peloton gets bigger. And Tom Pidcock as well, he's further back from the peloton. He had a mechanical, he had to have a bike change, so he's a minute and 30 down on the front of the race. And the peloton are 53 seconds down. So what? 40 seconds? 40 seconds down. Pidcock is on the peloton. At the front of the peloton, we have got UAE, and Tim Wellens is still at the front. He's been at the front for quite some time. So he's been at the front on his own, but now the team seems to be back together with Evenepoel and that group no longer a threat. So I think there's about 4 or 5 of them at the front, not including Pogačar. But Ineos are there as well. They've got a few riders at the front. Obviously, looking for Kevin Watchalong. Oh, I forgot that bang was sorry. I was putting something on the table. So, just as you can see, actually, I'll change this quickly too because it's no longer. It's 92.7 kilometers to go. I'm changing this to not 890. That would be some race. 90 kilometers to go. Oh yes, you're right. Weisstroffer has joined Group 1. I didn't actually see it. Who was the rider that dropped then? Come on, thank you. Or was it? Oh no, you're right. It was Weisstroffer. I thought it was Hugo. Was it? Weisstroffer has joined it, but was Hugo Hull in it from the start? I can't even remember. It just shows how good the memory is. But what was I going to say? Apologies there. As I was saying, the favourites are on your screen. I went on last night just to see what the bookies had the favourites at. So Tadej Pogačar is obviously heavy favourite, and then we had Paul Sexas with a surprising second favourite. That actually did surprise me, seeing he is the youngest rider at this race as well. Evenepoel in third favourite at 6-1, Skelmoza at 25-1. So you can see the big jump from third to fourth favourite, and then Ciccone second place last year. He's in fifth favourite at 33-1. So the front of the race is onto the Côte de Wani. Is that how you? That is, I'm not. Pronunciations could be a bit skew with this one because there is quite a lot of weird name climbs, but it is the first climb of I'd say the main section of the race, because from now on it is climb after climb after climb. So they've just finished that big, well, I wouldn't say big descent, but a decent descent, and Pogačar sat in second wheel here as the peloton are about to hit this climb. So Pogačar is looking in a very good position. Egan Bernal still there as well. Where's Decathlon and Sexas? Now I haven't seen. I've seen Decathlon at the front of the race, chasing for a bit. I see a few Decathlon riders in the back there now, towards the back of the peloton. But I think it was like past 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers when it was. Was there a rider from Decathlon there? I think there might have been one, but I haven't seen Sexas at all. But Pogačar is in a brilliant position here on this first climb of the hard section. Yeah, there was 4, but Weisstroffer closed the gap. So it was Weisstroffer. Apologies, I thought it was Hugo Hull. Or Hula, or whatever. Hugo. Oh, I forgot to get a poll up. You're joking. Ah. Right. That's Tim Wellens' day done. As he drew outside the back of the peloton. Who's that from Ineos as well? He was getting a bottle, but I think that's his day done as well. De Plus. Massive effort from him in the breakaway as well. So both riders are done. And sorry if you are just joining. I'm trying to get a poll up and running here. So I Good morning, Steve. Good morning. Right. Think our poll's right. Well, there's a poll up there now, so if you want to vote on it, go ahead. My prediction for the day was Remco Evenepoel. That was who I went with. And I'm not so sure about it now, seeing the breakaway, and it was caught, and Evenepoel was pulling at the front of the breakaway as well, which I did see, which sort of confused me. So I think my hope for Evenepoel winning has significantly decreased. So it has. But the peloton are 34 seconds behind the breakaway. There's 89.9 kilometers to go. The breakaway is 1.6 kilometers off the top of this first climb, the Côte d'Ivoire. Super effort from Wellens. Agreed. It was a very big effort, as he was the main guy for Ineos, doing the majority of the work, trying to bring that the group back, bring the peloton back together. But what was it? Pardon me. There was a lot of. Let me see if I can actually find it. There was a lot of chat from Remco Evenepoel for his before this race, where he did say a few things about Sexas, which caught quite a lot of people's attention. Let me see if I can. I think I liked it. Please tell me I did. I don't think I did. Is it on this? No, I can't find it. I thought I would have been able to find it. Oh, there we go. We shouldn't be surprised if Sexas struggles in the final hour. And everyone's saying he's talking shit, like smack talking to Paul Sexas. But the last time I remember Evenepoel doing that was in the Tour de France for Jonas Vingegaard before the time trial, and we all know what happened there. So hopefully it doesn't come back to bite him again. Main guy from Ineos. Did I say someone was coming from Ineos? Did I say Remco was riding for Ineos or something? Weisdorfer dropping. The breakaway, I think, is down to 3 riders now. It looks like it's down to 3. It looks like Einkorn and Weisdorfer have dropped. Down to 3, yeah. It is down to 3 indeed. As Decathlon are now moving to the front of the peloton here. I'm not expecting this breakaway to survive much longer. The gap is 22 seconds. And then after this climb, the climb was 2.2 kilometers long and had an average of 7.1%. But after this one, they go on to the Côte de Stockau, which is the steepest climb of the day. Alright, I said Wellens, did I? Well, I call Q 36.5 quick step sometimes, so. There's Weisdorfer about to get caught by the peloton now. But there are, apart from the main 3, which I have obviously in my poll, I mean, I see Pogačar's already at 83%. Pogačar's 83%, Sexas 8 and other 8. Apart from the 3 there in the good morning. But what was I going to say? Apart from the 3 riders in the poll, the 3, can't even speak. The main 3 favourites, a lot of teams do, like, the start list for this race is pretty big and pretty stacked, like, because it is Liege Bastogne Liege at the end of the day. But Little Trek, they've got Skelmoza and Giulio Ciccone at this race. Skelmoza, obviously, he got second at Amstel, and Ciccone got second at this race last year. Jayco bring Mauro Schmidt, who got second behind Paul Sexas at La Flèche Wallonne. I think he did get second. Oh, I hit the wrong thing. Q36, they obviously bring Tom Pidcock, who was not meant to be at this race with his injury, but made it back in time after riding the Tour of the Alps, which is good to see. But he still is. I think did he just make it back on there? I remember seeing him in the. I don't think he's back on yet, but he still is pretty decent bit away. AF Education, they've got Alex Bodin, so they do, who has had a very good season so far. He got 6th in the Flesh Wallon there and 11th at Amstel Gold. Bahrain Victorious, they're bringing Santiago Buitrago and Peo Bilbao and Tiberi. I'm not expecting Tiberi to do much, but Peo Bilbao, this would be his last ever Liege Bastogne Liege because he's retiring at the end of the season. Cofidis bring Ian Izagiri. Groupama bring Roman Gregoire, who I would love to see get a result at this race. So I would. He got a top 10 at Flesh Wallon, finishing in 9th. He got 4th at Amstel Gold race. He got 4th at the Brabantse. So he's in his last 3 one-day races, he's finished in the top 10 in all with 2 top 5s. And he also bringing Kevin Vauquelin, Egan Bernal, who looked really, really good in the Tour of the Alps, and Axel Laurence as well. So Ineos have a very strong team. Obviously, Kevin Vauquelin didn't have the best of Flesh Wallons, given his track record after getting 2nd in the past 2 years. And Axel Laurence, obviously, he got 8th at this race last year, so he was one of my riders to watch at this race. So he was. Uno X have Tobias Hallen Johannesson, who did unfortunately crash at the Flesh Wallon, so he didn't have that oomph at the end to try and go on to win it. But they've also got Magnus Cort Nielsen as well. And Uno X have a very strong team. Astana, who they bring, Christian Scaroni, Champousson, Tudor are missing Mark Hirschi and Julian Alaphilippe. Mark Hirschi broke his collarbone and is missing the Giro, which is unfortunate. And Julian Alaphilippe, I just remember seeing he abandoned. I think it might have been illness, but he dropped out of. I can't remember. I think he abandoned the Flesh Wallon. He abandoned Amstel Gold. He's abandoned quite a lot of races he's been on. Movistar, they bring Kian Utebrooks and Ivan Romeo as well. NSN bring Marco Frigo, who looked unreal at Amstel Gold from the breakaway. Quickstep, obviously they Van Sevenant, who was another one of my riders to watch. So he's been very good at this race in the past few years and very good in the Ardennes as well this year. Picking up 7th in Amstel Gold. I keep hitting the wrong button. Lotto Intermarché, they bring Leonard Van Etveld. This is his first race. No, it's not. He rode Le Flesh Wallon as well as the Miguel Indurain, but that was his first race since Tirreno, the Miguel Indurain race, because he was out for quite a bit. Well, no, he wasn't out. He just kept dropping out of races. Alpecin bring Verstringa as well, who has been brilliant at the. He got 5th at Amstel, so he did super result for him. And I think I'm near the bottom now. Yeah, I am. That is. I think that about wraps it up. Right, where am I? Oh, all right, Hound, all good. Other sneaky Gregoire. One Sex has to win, but I think Tade is just too good. Yeah, I don't know how I don't even know how it's gonna play out now, because I just didn't expect that big split at the beginning. I was hoping Evenepoel would have been there, but I can see. I don't think Evenepoel will be able to hold now if Tadej Pogačar does attack. I think Sexas will try and go with him, but I'm not 100%. We'll have to wait and see for that one. Again, you must mean Tom Pidcock's brother. Yes, that is. I was on about Tom Pidcock's brother. Pinarello top 10. Yes, I completely forgot about Pinarello. So did. I just seen the legend Marco Frigo. But Pinarello as well. He could pull something off here today. He won a stage there at the Gran Camino as well. 3rd in GC. But he hasn't really rode that many one-day races. He rode the Trofeo, got 33rd, abandoned the Strada Bianchi, and then his first race, I'm not going to count that because it was his first race of the season, but that was just a quick run-through just of the riders to look out for at this race, and obviously anything can happen, so any rider could do something. Any rider could potentially win it, but I mean, Tadej Pogačar's racing, so Sex has almost followed Pogačar on gravel. I think he can do it on road with no gravel. Yeah, that is fair. That is fair. And it was at the start of the season as well, and not a lot of obviously Sexas hadn't found the form that he's at now. So with the form he's on now, I think it gives him that extra bit of credibility for people to say that he will be able to follow him, and gives it also himself that bit of confidence in able to follow him. So it is going to be. It's going to be an interesting one when the first move does happen, and I'm curious to see who else does attack. You know, apart from Evenepoel, Sexas, and Pogačar, I'm very curious to see what else happens with all the other riders. So I am. And I think he might even be a better decision. Yeah, Sexas in the descent. Oh, pardon me. Sexas in the descent is an absolute monster. Like I can't even. I think I've said a few times. I can't even watch in descent at times. It's like watching a motorbike going around corners. It is. It's a hard watch, but it is very, very impressive. PCS. Never mind, I was going to say, the TV is also saying Group Pidcock is 1 minute and 19 down from the front of the race. The peloton is 11 seconds down, so Pidcock is over a minute now on the peloton, so I don't think he is going to get back. There's 82.8 kilometres to go. I'm going to change that to 80, because I almost forgot again. 3 riders from UAE at the front, and Pogačar is sat in 4th wheel. I completely forgot about... Where's Visma? I've completely forgot to mention Visma. Visma obviously have Ben Tollett, who got his first podium at La Flèche on there, his first World Tour podium. I just seen the yellow in the peloton and realised, oh, they're on the Côte de Stockau now. 1 kilometre long, average 11.4%, and I think maximums of a lot, put it that way. The breakaway is about to get caught here by UAE in the peloton. This is the climb here that the Eddie Merckx statue's on, isn't it? I think it is. So there's UAE picking off the breakaway riders one by one and throwing them out the back. And that is the breakaway done. We are down to the peloton left here. They're currently sitting on 13%. Look at that. All the riders dropping off the back. How steep that is. So the breakaway is finished. The worrying is over for UAE, that they've no one else to chase, but now they have to focus on getting Tadej Pogačar and they have to focus on getting the peloton as small as possible with the riders they've got at the front. And they're obviously going to have to focus on getting Tadej Pogačar in the best position, which they have had him in the best position for the best wee while there. But I see Paul Sexas on his own with his two teammates down the... I'd say he's about 2 teammates, 3 or 4 riders down, but he's currently on his own just to the right of Tadej Pogačar's wheel. I'm getting cooked in what... I told you I don't need the reminder, so I don't... I don't need the reminder. Game's over then. It's Pog's to lose. It is Pog. It's Pogačar's to lose at this point. But it is just. I'm still excited to see what does. I'm hoping someone is able to go with him. There's Sexas and Pogačar riding side by side. We see the images that come out of this after this race, and there's Evenepoel just in the back. They do get a breakaway together. The images and all the Instagrams and TikToks of the master and apprentice of Sexas and Pogačar. Egan Bernal's still looking good. He's on the wheel of Remco Evenepoel. I hope Egan Bernal does well. I really hope he does, because he does deserve it. But UAE at the front here are not letting up. Out of the saddle, ripping it up at the front of the peloton here. And the peloton is getting a lot smaller. Pavel Sivakov's writing this as well. I think has it been confirmed if he's signed for Decathlon? Yet, maybe he starts to ride for them now. Just takes the jersey off and has a decathlon one underneath. Insufficient shouting from Remco. There's still time. We've still 81 kilometers. What happened to Pidcock? He had a mechanical, just had a bike change, and it was a bike change just before the descent. It was about 140 kilometers into the race, just before the descent down towards the Côte de Wam, the Wani or the Wan, one of the two. But it was just before that, and he's a minute down now, and he just didn't. When he got back on his bike, he had no group with him or anything, so he's had to do a lot of work. The camera's on him now. Here he is on the Stock O. He's got 3 riders with him, but he's at the front of his group. But it is unfortunate to see him doing so well at the Tour of the Alps. Obviously, I wasn't expecting a lot from him at this race, but it's just unfortunate to see him in the group down, not being able to compete. So 81.2, the Stocko is finished. So it is, and we've got literally after the descent of this, we're straight onto another climb, the Côte de la Haute Leve. If yeah, that's what I'll go with. Remco gets so much hate, but he's so entertaining. He does see the comments I see on the. Obviously, when we're talking about him in here, we're obviously taking the piss, but the comments I see on TikTok and Instagram. So he definitely is the scapegoat for quite a lot of cycling fans when they want to let off a bit of steam. I have faith in Remco. The race isn't over. To the fast riders. So we're on to the 80 kilometer mark to go now. So we're at 80.2 kilometers. Pidcock is 1 minute and 18 seconds down. They're on a bit of cobbled road here, so they are. That is what they're currently on at the moment. But the camera's just on the back, showing a lot of the riders in the highest gear possible, struggling to hang on. Who was that for Appleson? Gliver. Right, so we're on to the Côte de la Haute Leve. So we are. It's 2.3 kilometers, has an average of 7.4, but I think the steepest section of the climb is at the very start of it. It sort of levels off after that steep section. But a lot of these climbs have averages over 7%. So they do. Oh. So the Decathlon have 3 riders. Who does Sexas have with him? Where are they? Sexas has Bissou and Prodhomme. So that's the 2 riders Sexas has with him. But it's UAE at the front still with 4 riders. Red Bull have 3 riders just after that. And then Decathlon have 3 riders. And Ineos also have, I think they have about 2 or 3 riders. I'm not sure if that does include Egan Bernal, who is still there. But they're the 4 main teams at the start. What's the weather looking like? Sun is out, dry. And the sun is splitting the trees. Not a drop of rain, which is good. I don't know about the temperature or anything. Let me see if I can find it. No, I can't. At kilometer 0, it was 8 degrees Celsius. So it was. So I don't know how much it's changed since then, but that's what it was at the very start of the race. Skelmos are there in the middle of the peloton. Alex Bodin as well. There's an Ineos rider with no number on his back. George Bennett is still there. Leknessy, Mauro Schmidt. Pidcock had a mechanical. Yes, he did. He did. He had an unfortunate mechanical, but the peloton is quite a lot smaller now after that stocko. Oh, pardon me. Pardon me. So yeah, Remco still does have his two teammates with him. Jai Hindley and Daniel Felipe Martinez are the two teammates Remco has got left. He obviously lost a teammate in Nico Denz because he was the only teammate Remco had with him in that breakaway at the start. And Nico Denz was trying his best to keep the breakaway as far, or the peloton as far away as possible. And he ended up dropping on the second climb of the day, I think it was. But I think that's Tobias Hallen Johannesson as well. He's just in amongst the Cathalon and Ineos riders. I see a few Visma riders as well. Announces his retirement after the competition, or after the completion. Sorry. What makes you say that, or it just 1.1 kilometers to go off the Côte de la Haute Leve. That is how long is left of this climb, and then after that we've got, I'd say, about 10 kilometers until the foot of the next climb. So it is a bit of a break. So it is. The camera's on Pidcock here. He has got four riders in front of him, 2 trying to get onto the back of him. So he's still got a decent group with him, but the gap is now up to a minute and 25 seconds, minute and 27. So it is. So I think, I don't think Pidcock is making it back. This is the fastest edition of this race, which is, and it's the fastest edition by quite some margin as well. Let me see if I can find it, because I remember seeing it. Yeah, so last year's race was the fastest at 41.9 kilometers an hour. They averaged. The third was 41.4, so they were close enough. This year's average speed at the moment is 45.3, so it is a massive margin from first to second. So it is. And it just shows you how fast they have been riding in order to catch that second part of the peloton. Oh, sorry, to catch the first part, or the group up the road, the Evenepoel group. But I was looking last night, and I was thinking. Well, I wasn't thinking. I was like, let me see who the youngest rider in this race is. And when I went on it, obviously Paul Sexas is the youngest, which he's the youngest rider at this race, and he's also the second favourite to win it. But the 3 youngest riders at this race all come from Decathlon, and they have I've seen it there as well, because it reminded me of it. The average age of Decathlon at this race, like their team, the average age, they have the lowest. Where is it? Oh, come on. There. The average age of Decathlon at this race is 24.1. Current form is 24.7. But I was shocked to see that Decathlon, the 3 youngest riders at this race, all come from Decathlon, which surprised me. An attack here on the left hand side of the peloton from a rider for Quickstep. That is, let me just see. That's Maximilian Schachmann. That is who it is that attacked off the front. I'll be back yapping before the conclusion. No problem, Cat. No problem. Not that big of a gap for Schachmann. I don't actually surprised at the attack as well. So I am. Came third at this race in 2019. Ian Izagiri. I was wondering if he did make it back onto the peloton. Obviously from his crash at the start of the day, because I did see he didn't abandon or anything, and I hadn't heard anything about it. But he's still in the peloton there. He's at the back. It's good to still see him in the peloton back on the bike. Was there anyone that abandoned the race? There was two There was 2 riders that didn't start, so they didn't. It was of course I have to say that, and it's someone I can't pronounce. So James Shaw is the first one from AF Education, and Alexandra Deletre from Total Energies is the other one. They're the only 2 riders that didn't start the race. I was just showing an interview from Sexas here. I was just talking about how hard the race is going to be. Roubaix was 48.9. I know. I'm not talking about 45 is obviously. I'm just more talking about the gap from first to second. I think it's about 3.5-4 kilometer difference in average speed. But the Roubaix one as well, I think it was the fastest as well of all time. Every classic at the moment has been the fastest race of all time this season, which is I wonder what I don't even know, is next year going to be even faster? Did I get to the point to finish a race in like 2 hours? Let's have a look at the poll here, see if it is changed much. Tadej Pogačar 79%, Remco with 7%, Paul Sexas with 3%. So more people think Remco has a chance of winning it than Paul Sexas. And then other has 10%. So that is what it is currently sitting at now in the poll. Obviously, I expected Tadej Pogačar to get the majority of the votes, but Remco being higher than Sexas, that is a surprise to me. 75.7 kilometers to go. If you are just joining, Maximilian Schachmann of Quickstep is up the road. He did an attack there about 5 minutes ago, but it hasn't really gone far as the peloton are about to catch him here. Pidcock, according to PCS, is down the road by 1 minute and 38 seconds. But it's still UAE at the front. UAE are still at the front. 4 riders. Tadej Pogačar still sat in 4th, and Red Bull still have 4 riders now. They've got another rider there, and then Ineos are the group or the team. No, they're not. It's Decathlon. Decathlon are the team behind, and then it goes Ineos. So still the same 4 teams at the front. Whoa. I know the teammates with Paul Sexas are Prodholm and Liege Bastogne. Showing a helicopter here of the helicopter cam of the peloton, and it's a lot bigger than I thought it was after the Stock O. So maybe it's come back together, but the peloton is still pretty big. Uno X are coming up on the left-hand side of the road here as an attack on the... What is going on there? Oh no, I thought he was attacking. You know, he's getting a ball. In the feed zone here, everyone's getting their bags. Tadej Pogačar puts a wee satchel around him, so he's got his bag. But everyone's just passing about bottles now. So there. So I would say they've got about... Did they actually say? Yeah, they've... 70... They've got about 5 kilometres to the Col de Rosser. So they do. It's 4.4 kilometres and has an average of 5.7%. Shackman got caught as well, just in case anyone was wondering. He got caught, which I'm sure isn't a surprise. I don't know why he did attack. And I've just realised Uno X are in their red kit. I thought they were wearing a black kit for this race, a blacked out kit. I don't know. I've literally just noticed that they're riding in red. I don't know why it's taken me that long, but they had like a full blacked out kit and blacked out bike, and I thought they were wearing it for this race as like a special jersey, but obviously not. Maybe they weren't allowed. No issues on that corner. Tour of Turkey was also on today, just in case anyone was curious. The Tour of Turkey was on, which Tom Crabbe won the first stage. I caught the end of it. I think I caught the last 5 kilometers of it. So Tom Crabbe won. I watched the sprint. It was a very good sprint from him. He came out of nowhere as well. A lot of the camera was more focused on the left hand side, where the majority of the sprinters were, and Tom Crabbe came up on the right hand side towards the centre. So we did. Gaviria got 6th. Simon De Haers of Alpecin got 2nd. But Tom Crabbe is he's definitely a talent. He's only 20 years old as well. What's that? His third stage win of the year. Yeah, he won a stage in the Étoile de Bessèges and the Vuelta a Andalucía, and now he's won a stage at the Tour of Turkey, and it's the first stage, so he could win another one. And Flanders Baloise are they're disbanding after this year, so he's going to be on the transfer market. So it is. I'm actually very curious to see who picks him up and what team he does go to. So I am. So 70.9 kilometers to go in Liege Bastogne Liege. Mauro Schmidt here at the back of the peloton. So he is. Don't know if he's got an issue, but he's got 2 teammates just up the road in front of him. He's not gapped or anything off the peloton, but he's got 2 teammates just sitting up in front of him in the peloton. Who do you think is the best upcoming rider that people don't talk about? What a way to put me on the spot. Good question. Good question. Give me a moment to think about that. I will get back to you, but I actually want to think about that, because I can't actually think off the top of my head. So I can't. When you say upcoming rider, what, how young should they be? Like, do you mean like under 25 able to compete for the white jersey? Or do you mean someone who's like 18, 19, 20, something like that? Because one rider off the top of my head that does come to mind is Matisse Rondel at Tudor. But I don't know if people under 21, he's 22. You're kidding. Right, give me, because I thought I was good with Matisse Rondel there, but I have to go even younger. camera is on Leonard Van Etveld there, which is there an issue? I don't know why the camera would be on him. No issue. He's just in the middle of the peloton. I just thought, let's give him a bit of camera time. Right, we're on to the longest climb of the day. So we are. Don't worry, I still haven't forgot about your question. I'm actually still thinking, because I'm trying to think of a rider that no one talks about. I would say Tom Crabb, to be honest, but I don't know if people are talking about him a lot. He would be one that I would say does have a very big future. But I will try my best to think of someone else as well if Tom Crabb isn't sufficient of an answer. But with 67.2 kilometers to go, and they're onto the Col de Rossière, 4.4 kilometers long, has an average of 5.7%. And they're currently sitting at 10% now on the road. 3.9 kilometers to go in this climb. I like the look of what do you call him? From Lotto, but I think people talk about him. I like, but he hasn't been performing that well. Obviously, I like Lorenzo Finn. I like him. I think he's good. But Vidar as well. His name popped into my head there. What? He was meant to ride these, and I was actually going to put him as a rider to watch at these because he did win Liege Bastogne Liege at under 23 level. So he did, but this season he's out with a knee injury. He got 4th in the Figueira Champions, and then his last 2 races he didn't start the Fondrom and he didn't finish the Fon Ardèche. But I think he could do well. He's tiny, 54 kg. He's 20. He's out with a knee injury. He set the return at the Tour Swiss, but he was going to be a rider to watch for these Ardennes, for the Liège for myself, but he was unfortunately pulled from the race because of that injury. Tom Crabb, he's performing really well this season, and he is a sprinter for the future, definitely. So he is. But still UAE at the front. Average of 44.6 kilometers at the moment. They've done 193.8 kilometers already. And there's 66.2 to go. 3 kilometers to the top of this climb. But there's not a lot happening. There is not a lot happening at the moment. No breakaway up the road. It's just UAE setting the pace and everyone else having to go with it. Red Bull still have 4 teammates. I'm wondering who the 4th teammate is. I think it is... For some reason I'm thinking it's... Exebere. If that is how you pronounce it. The Spanish rider. I haven't seen the number in the back yet, but I think it looks like him. So I do. But they're just... I'm expecting a lot of these. They're showing the slow-mo here of the peloton going around the corner, and you can see Remco, Sexas and Pogačar all in the same frame. I'm expecting a lot of this, so I am. They're going to get as much coverage of the 3 riders together as possible. But Ineos still have a lot of good riders in this peloton as well. Egan Bernal, Kevin Vakwillen. One, I think I'm going to assume Axel Laurence is still there. I would like to think so. But they did lose De Plus as well. He was in the breakaway at the front of the day with Egan Bernal doing a lot of the work at the front as well. So they have lost him. But they've also got the previous winner in Bob Jungels at this race. He won it in 2018. So he did. Is Remco on Pogačar's wheel with his 3 teammates behind? Yeah, Remco sat on Pogačar's wheel in 5th wheel. And he's got the 3 Red Bull teammates on his wheel. Decathlon have 3 riders, which is the 3 riders that I did mention earlier. Obviously, Paul Sachs has Bissou as well and Prodholm. They're the 3 Decathlon riders from memory. And then it is Ineos as well. So it's still the same 4 teams. There is a rider from Quickstep at the back. What's the issue here? Luis Vervaeke, I think it is. That was just a bottle. I thought it was a puncture or something. 2 bottles. He's obviously on collection duty. And there's the 3rd bottle as well. They obviously missed the feed zone. 1.8 kilometers left until the Col de Rosier is finished. And then it's a descent down to another 2 climbs back to back. And then after that, it is the Col de la Redoute, where I'm expecting fireworks. But the peloton is still pretty big, and a lot of teams with a lot of riders still remaining. Scalmos as well, I think is still there. See, I see 2 little Trek riders, but the last time it showed a helicopter cam, Scalmos was there, so I'm going to assume he is still there. There's another bottle collection for UAE. They're getting a lot of bottles in them. Right, helicopter. So there's only 1 Ineos rider there at the front. Sorry, well, 2, including Egan Bernal, but I meant 1 in the orange. And I didn't see the number. And every time there's a helicopter camera, there's always a tree in the way. They're showing the back of the peloton now. So they are. And the riders that are struggling at the back. Who is that? Zimmerman and Van Boven of Lotto Intermarché. They were the 2 Lotto riders. And there was also an Alpecin rider as well. But there is a... Is that a gap? Is that a gap from Ineos to Little Trek? No, it's closed now. I thought there was going to be a split there. Into the final kilometre now off this climb. And Ineos are back, or Ineos, UAE are back out of the saddle here at the front. Another feed zone. More bottles being passed about. 30 kilometres an hour at the moment. I wonder who the 3 riders for UAE are at the front. Like they do have a very good team at this race. Obviously, it's not Tim Wellens. He dropped out the back quite a while ago. But there's 3 riders, so it's obviously... I wonder, I don't think Novak is in it, because he was in the breakaway at the start. So Pavel Sivakov, Langen, Vergaard, Lanigan from... UAE. Could be him, it could be Harragots, or it could be Benoit Cosnefroid, who has been on fire for UAE at the Ardennes in absence of a lot of their riders. He got third in Amstel, didn't he? Yeah, third in Amstel, third in third in the Brabantse, and he got fourth at the Flèche Wallonne. So he is picking up a lot of UCI points and a lot of good results in UAE. A lot of good results for UAE. Seeing they are missing a lot of key riders. So that's him finished the climb now. They go on to a descent now down. How long is the descent? The descent is about, it's a long, trying to think, maybe 5 or 6 kilometers until the foot of the next climb, where there's 2 back to back. Oh. Alright, Shelley. Are you all good? You missed Cat. Cat's away. He's getting as much use out of his paid subscription of what is it? Can't remember what one he pays for, but he's getting as much use out of it as possible. So he is. So hello to yourself. He has indeed. .70 kilometers an hour here on the descent. They were showing there on PCS the number of race days. The number of race days that the previous winners have had before the start of Liege Bastogne Liege. So if Tadej Pogačar had 9 race days in 2024 before he won this race. He had 13 last year before he won this race. If he wins it today, he will have 4 races, before winning. It's only 4 races this season. So yeah, it's right. So what has happened? There was a massive split at the start of the day. There was a crash when I checked. This was before TV even went live. There was a crash. Ian Izagiri and Vendrame went down of Jayco. And there was a massive split in the peloton, which caused 52 riders to go up the road. In that group was Remco Evenepoel and Egan Bernal as well, but Remco only had 1 teammate and Bernal only had 1 teammate. But everyone was up the road. Pogačar and Sexas were not. Decathlon were the only team that didn't have a rider in that breakaway, or not breakaway, but in that split. That's that first group, and I think it hit about 4 minutes at one point as well. The gap was the maximum hit was 4 minutes, and then I'd say about 130 kilometers into the race, the second climb of the day is when the second part or the first part of the peloton really started to struggle, because UAE and Decathlon were both chasing them down, and then we're seeing Red Bull and Remco lose the teammate he had, and then they all just started looking at each other, weren't really working together, and then it all sort of just split apart. There was 5 riders that went up the road on that group, and then the peloton caught them, and then that was that over. I was expecting them to catch him, so it was. That's why I didn't go live. I was planning on going live a lot earlier because of that happened, but then I realised it's going to go down here at some point. And then they did get caught, and it's been a full peloton since. First 4 climbs of this like harder part from 170 kilometers to the end. The first 4 climbs, UAE have been dominating at the front. They've been sat with about 4 riders at the front. Obviously, Tadej Pogačar is the 4th rider. I saw at one point there was 40 riders at the front. Yeah, I seen 40 as well. So I did. That's when I tuned into PCS. That was how many riders were up the road, but I'm pretty sure I think it was like 50 plus. Cat's back. But at the moment, I change that to 60. We've got 59.2 kilometers to go. With UAE still 4 riders, Tadej Pogačar in 4th wheel. Red Bull have 4 riders still. I don't know if any Ineos riders have moved up the last time. Yeah, Pidcock, I forgot, yeah. Pidcock had a mechanical. He had a mechanical after the second climb. and that was really his race over. It was a rough time to have a mechanical. So Ineos are still... I see a few riders just sporadically spread over the peloton. No real main group off the team, but I think that is Astana coming up on the right-hand side, so it is. Hopefully they are working for Scaroni, but they've also got Velasco as well, who did well at this race last year. But he got a top 10, didn't he? Pretty sure he did. Yeah, he got fourth. He got fourth last year, so he won the sprint of the bunch after Healy and Ciccone. Oh. Average pace they're sitting at about now, it's still 44. Still going the same average rough pace. There's 26,000 people watching the PCS coverage. It's nuts. But it is so yeah, I was trying to figure out what UAE riders are at the front. Pavel Sivakov is one of them, and Kosnefat is another. I think Kosnefat is the one closest to Pogačar. I think he's the one in front of him. And Sivakov is the rider at the front. I just need to work out what rider is in the middle of them now. Got the helicopter footage on a spa. That is... lucky them, all relaxing at the spa. $80 an hour they're doing at the moment on this final bit of the descent down towards the next climb. You might have to bite the bullet and pay for coverage for a month to watch the Giro. You're getting a bit of FOMO for it, are you? Showing there in PCS, the last rider that won Liege Bastogne Liege on their first participation is Remco Evenepoel in 2022. So I wonder if Paul Sexas will be able to do that and win it first on his debut this year. Sivakov here out of the saddle, and he's actually gapping the peloton, so he is. It's your favourite race? Yeah, it is. It's one of my favourites as well. So it is. First Grand Tour, just after the classic season, so the hype's still there. And then it's a first Grand Tour as well. And you can't go wrong with the pink jersey, in my opinion. Can't go wrong at all. The kilometers here are dropping like mad. Obviously, it's because of the descent, but another ad break. A rider from Jayco there struggling to hang on to the peloton. It's Alan Hatherley. Struggling to keep up with the descent pace here. Who else is that at the back of that? Is that the same Quickstep rider that went back for the bottles? Where's Quickstep? Yeah, it is. So he's back at the back of the peloton. Maybe he just took all 3 bottles for himself. Maybe he was that bit thirsty. The stages as well in the Giro d'Italia look brilliant. Like there's very, very little there's very little sprint stages. So there's 2 three nailed on flat stages, and it's the first stage, the last stage, and the last stage before the second rest day. A lot of the other ones are just like, obviously a lot could finish in sprints, but they've got quite a lot of climbs in them. Your mum was forcing you to revise. Oh, been there before. Been there before you. I have been there before. Kat, you decided on that, so you have it. Stage 20 of last year's Euro was my favourite stage of any stage race ever. I remember watching it and I just remember going, what is actually going on here? I couldn't believe what was going on. Because Del Toro and Carapaz were both arguing, and Simon Yates is away up the road as if nothing had happened. I'm hoping for a close one. So I would love to see a close one. But if it does go Vingegaard's way, you're probably looking at it to be over at the first mountain stage. But I hope it's not. If Jonas is on top form, it could be over before the second rest day. Because the stage... No, hold up. Oh. Because I said that. Oh, there's 3 rest days in this. I was confused there. So, yeah, sorry. What I was on about was one of the flat stages before the third rest day. But before the second rest day, there's a massive climb. Where I think if Vingegaard is on massive form, if he's on top form, it could be over by then. And it could be over as well, because there's another massive climb before the third rest stage, before the flat stage. What stage is it? Stage 14. So stage 14 and stage 9. If Vingegaard's on top form, it could probably be over by then, which I'm hoping it's not. Obviously, I'm hoping for a very tight one. I've got geography, history, media studies, Spanish, and all the core subjects. Oh, lovely. Well, I wish you the best of luck for them. So would I. World Masterclass on stage 9 last year tops it for me. Oh, the beating, what do you call him? Beating Isaac Del Toro. The Giro d'Italia last year was brilliant. Like, it was really, really good. Like, one of the main things I remember from the Giro d'Italia was Mads Pedersen just absolutely dominating. And I always remember it was always Vasek in front of Pedersen, and it was just a perfect lead out and just a perfect sprint. I'm hoping I pass them all. Last year, these were the last year to do O levels. A geophysicist. That's a fancy career, that. Pellizzari seems to be in really good form. I don't think he will compete with Jonas, but might make it exciting. I agree. I think if the battle for second will be very, very interesting. I'm hoping and I'm praying Egan Bernal has a good one. So I am. I really hope Egan Bernal does shine at the Giro. Thinking of Wout masterclasses. Yeah, I remember watching it. I remember actually screaming at the TV for him to drop Pogačar. So you're not a geophysicist then? If you're still here, Joe, when's the first one? Like, when do they start? I can't. Is it not a couple of weeks of the GCSE start? I can't actually remember. Right, 51.3 kilometers to go. So I'll change that to 50. So we're into the final hour and a bit of this race. Let me have a look at the poll, actually. Tadej Pogačar has dropped just slightly. I think he's dropped by 5%. He's now down to 74% in this poll, with Remco at 10%. Paul Sexas has moved up now into 7%, and other is still 10%. So a few more votes for Paul Sexas there, I think, from the last time I did check. Any word on Matteo Jorgensen? The last I seen of him, I seen a photo being posted off him, obviously after the surgery or whatever he did at the hospital. I think it was surgery. Seen him on that, and then I think a couple of days later he was back on the bike. He was back on, obviously not riding on the bike, but he was on the trainer. That was the last I seen of it, which was very good. Hopefully a speedy recovery for him, and very, very speedy recovery indeed, as it looks so far. So they just finished the Col de Mascard, and now they're going on to the Côte de Denier. I think that is how you pronounce it, but that is the next climb that they're going on to now. They're currently on the descent down towards it. But a lot of teams are fighting for a position at the moment. So UAE aren't the only team at the front anymore. We've got Decathlon on the right-hand side of them trying to get into a good position. AF Education are coming up the left-hand side of them. Uno X and Little Trek are also on the far left-hand side of the road trying to come up at the front of the race. Bahrain have one rider at the front randomly, so does Red Bull. I don't know where. I think Evenepoel's still on the wheel off Pogačar. I don't think he wants to leave the wheel. So there's 2 Uno X rider, 2 Little Trek, 4 still remain for UAE, including Pogačar. There's still 3 for Decathlon, but one is a bit far back. There's 4 for AF Education. I saw a real Matteo. Yeah, it is. It's scary how quickly they get back on the bike. It is very scary. Johnny has not made an appearance, no. $90 kilometers an hour here they're doing on the descent. Going onto the Côte de Denier. They're doing 65 kilometers an hour at the moment, and it was showing UAE at the front there on the helicopter, and it just looked as if they were going a normal pace. I don't know how they go so quick and they're just so calm. Like I seen in the Tour of the Alps. Did it finish yesterday? No, finished on. Heads all over the show. When did the Tour of the Alps? But anyway, the final stage of the Tour of the Alps, when Palazzari broke off on the descent, he was going 100 kilometers an hour down this. I was like, what? 100 kilometers an hour? They're under the Côte de Denier now. 1.6 kilometers long, has an average of 8.1% and a maximum of 10%. But 100 kilometers an hour down a descent is nuts. So it is. There's a rider from Alpecin dropping. Good old Gal. Gal Galivar. More riders dropping. There's a rider from Uno X, a rider from Bahrain. That rider was Tiberi. So it was, I thought it was 96, it was 97. So Tiberi is dropping off already. Who's that? Picnic Post. Pavel Sivakov now has dropped off. That's him done after a massive shift from himself at the front. So he's been at the front of the race for all of them 5 climbs that they've just done. And that's him finally dropped off now. Pardon me. What kilometer am I at? I am currently at 47.5 kilometers. And there's 47.4 kilometers now, 750 meters to the top of the next, of this climb, sorry, the Côte de Desnier. 700 meters to the top of it now. So that is currently where I am at. I think they hit the... Shown here the last 5 times that Remco and Tadej Pogačar have raced in one-day races against each other. Tadej Pogačar has beat him in all 5 of them, winning all 5 of the races. It was the Tour of Flanders where Remco got 3rd, Lombardia last year where Remco got 2nd, the European Championships which Remco got 2nd, the World Championships which Remco got 2nd, and then Liege Bastogne Liege last year, which something happened with Remco. I think must have had an issue, but he got 59th, so he did. So we've got Pavel Novak at the front now for UAE. So that was who the other rider was. That was who the rider I was trying to figure out all along. Sorry, not Pavel Novak, Domen Novak. Benoit Cosnefroid is the most fun name to say in the back. It is. It's a very French name, so it is. But he is still there. He seems to be Tadej Pogačar's main man for this race. But we've got Decathlon now in the wheel of UAE, no longer Red Bull. And Decathlon still have 3 riders, including Paul Sexas. I don't want to say his name now. Every time I say it sounds like Iron Brew, the drink. But we've got the 3 riders from Decathlon, and then the team in behind Decathlon now, I believe, is Red Bull. I see a rider from... There's a rider from Bahrain splitting the 2, but the next main team is Red Bull after Decathlon. They've got the camera here on Ineos. Jack Haig struggling at the back of the peloton. Astana. Nicola Consi? Is that how you pronounce it? Good afternoon, Johnny. 8:50 a.m. I don't know how you do it. Don't know how you do it, Kat. 46.4 kilometers to go. They've just completed the Côte de Desnier. And they're now descending down to one of the main climbs of the day, the Côte de la Redoute. That is what is up next. There's a rider, who's that? Number 1 for Picnic Post, Frank van de Broek. He is struggling at the back. And he seems to be gapped now from the peloton. Yeah, I think, that's his race done. Picnic Post, obviously, as well, haven't yet got a single win this season. They're the Tour of Turkey as well, where Casper van Uden is racing. He looked to be in a very good position in the sprint, but I don't know what happened to him, and he ended up having a not so good sprint in the end. Here's Johnny. My favourite name in cycling is... Yeah, I'm not even going to even attempt to pronounce that. Yeah, I'm not. You're taking the piss now. These aren't even names, are they? How do you even... Abdouez Japarov. That's what I'm gathering from that one. So I am. But EF Education have now moved to the front of the peloton alongside UAE, so they have 3 riders. Both riders at the front. The rider for EF Education and Domen Novak are both having a chat and laughing at the front of the peloton here. I don't even know how... so they're both real cyclists. Royal rides for Lotto Intermarché. Is he racing today? No, he's not. There he is there. What a name. What a name indeed. And thing is, Rob Hatch would get it right with that pronunciation as well. So AF Education and UA are still dominant at the front here. I'm losing my voice. Pardon me. Sure, it's showing the times for the Labradoute, for the winners, the previous winners, their times for it. So Pogačar last year went up it in 3:57.24. He went up it in 4:02, and then Evenepoel, both years he won it, 4:11 and 4:44. So it gets a lot shorter in time every year. Got some food. AF Education, they'd be riding for Alex Boudin, so they would. I think so. He would be the or Michael Leonard, but I think it would be Alex Boudin, in my opinion. How do I think Ben Tullett will do? Good question. He got a podium at the Watchalong, which will give him that big boost of confidence, as well as Visma a boost of confidence, as they are moving up on the left-hand side of the road here with 3 riders, including Ben Tullett. So I would like to see him do well. Obviously, from the UK, would love to see him do well. But maybe a top 10. Because Liege is weird. You obviously for the apologies for the last 2 years or so, you have Pogačar going solo, but for you don't really get you always get the peloton finishing in the top 10, or like a big group behind finishing the top 10. You don't get a lot of gaps, so it seems. So I guess it's just whoever's able to get in the breakaway after Tadej Pogačar, and then it's whoever's the best sprinter, I suppose, in the group behind. So it is. So here we go. This is where it's all going to kick off. They're about to hit the Côte de la Redoute. That is what is up next. There's 42.3 kilometers. Sorry, I thought it was upcoming there. It's not. It was on a different screen, and I heard the name in my ear, and I thought, right, it's coming up. No, they're still a decent bit away from it. I'd say they're about 5 kilometers from the foot of it. Little Trek are coming towards the front. Astana are taking up the left-hand side of the road as well, alongside Visma. Quickstep have a few riders, but they're not really together. I see 2 riders, but they're not together. They're sort of just all over the show. But Astana are making themselves known at the front here as well. EF Education seem to be down to 2 riders now, so they went from 4 to 2. Decathlon are coming on the right hand side of UAE with their 3 riders that remain. The other 2 EF Education riders, they're on the wheels of the Decathlon riders. But Visma here on the left hand side, I wonder who that is. Is that it looks like Steven Kreisweg, maybe? Whoever it is, whoever that is for Visma at the front, it looks like he's putting in a big shift. There's one rider from Cofidis. I've seen one rider from Groupama. Little Trek now have 3 riders at the front. UAE have moved back just slightly, and they're down to 3 riders. Obviously, Doman Novak, Kostnafar and Pogačar. Decathlon, 3 riders. Egan Bernal is there as well on the wheel of the Decathlon riders. But all the teams are getting to the front here on this descent down to the La Redoute. 1.6 kilometers long, has an average of 9.1%, and the final 800 meters of it are sitting about 11.5, 12% is what the final 800 meters of this climb is looking like. So let's hope for some fireworks and not a Pogačar solo attack. The mic there. That rider for Quickstep, one of the riders for Quickstep, which I've seen PCS have just said there that it's Dylan van Baarle. All the fans on the La Redoute are waving at the helicopter camera. Philip Gilberg's face is printed onto the is that Remco as well? Remco's face as well printed onto the road. It is indeed. I don't want to say that in case I get taken down, but that's where it's all going to go off. 81 kilometers an hour currently, 37.7 kilometers to go. It still says 50k. Of course it does. Change that to 40. But they're going to hit this climb at some speed. Boom goes the dynamite. Right, here we go. Who's at the front? There's a rider for Bahrain at the front. There's 2 at the front, but they're not together. Pogačar sat in the second wheel on his teammate. Decathlon are on the right hand side of the road. Visma are on the left, but Red Bull are in front of them. But they are going some speed here on this descent towards the La Redoute. And they've got a corner coming up here. Hopefully no crashes. And look at this. Over the bridge. 36.6 kilometers to go. Pavel Sivakov did he make it back on? That fair play to him. He dropped, but he seems to have made it back onto the back of the peloton. Dylan van Baarle as well at the back, but we're back to the front of the race where Tadej Pogačar is sat in second wheel at the front of the peloton with, I'm going to assume, Kostnafar at the front. There's a rider from Bahrain who's just went to the front of the race now, round to the left, onto the right. No issues. 36 kilometers to go exactly. But Bahrain seem to be leading us on with Paul Sexas on the wheel of Tadej Pogačar. Remco Evenepoel looking comfortable as well. He's on the wheel of Paul Sexas. So the 3 of them are there together. Skelmos is there as well. I think Ben Tullett as well. There's Ciccone. Is that Ciccone? No, sorry, it was Bernard. Ciccone's 3. I thought he was 2. Julien Bernard of Little Trek has dropped off. But here we go. This is us onto the La Redoute, 1.6 kilometers. Kosnefan now accelerates, moving past that Bahrain rider who was leading us onto it. But maximum of 15% in this. Tadej Pogačar in second wheel. Paul Sexas in third wheel. Remco Evenepoel is not there. Remco Evenepoel is sat about 10th wheel. Oh dear. But Paul Sexas right on the wheel of Pogačar. I think Skelmos is in third wheel. I think Ben Tullett is in Skelmos is in fourth wheel. Ben Tullett's in fifth wheel. No, he is. Who's that in the fourth wheel? There is a rider for Bahrain, which I think might be Butrago. But Remco is dropping. Remco's done. Remco is done. Yeah, Remco's done. Peo Bilbao is also away. It's down to Pogačar and Paul Sexas. Oh, you're never got the 3. You're joking. But Kosnefan is putting the pace here at the front of the race with Pogačar still in second wheel. Sexas looking comfortable in third. But all that talk from Evenepoel saying that Sexas is going to struggle in the final hour. It is actually himself struggling in the final hour as he is now dropped from the Pogačar group, as well as a lot of other favourites. I think that's Ian Izagiri. And Pogačar attacks. Pogačar attacks at the front. Paul Sexas on his wheel like glue, will not let him go anywhere. Will he be able to stay with him? But 900 metres to go on the La Redoute, and Pogačar is attacking. The only one able to go with him is Paul Sexas. This is nuts. Skelmos in the distance, you can see. But is the gap going to go? Come on, Sexas, stay with him. He's staying with him. He is staying with him. This is brilliant. Tadej Pogačar is sat up. His attack is finished. Well, I'm assuming he's still going to attack as well on the saddle, but the out of the saddle attack is finished. Skelmos is the rider in third. He's out of the saddle again. Paul Sexas out of the saddle as well. This is nuts. Sexas still staying with him. He is still staying with him. Out of the saddle, Tadej Pogačar gets it. He's not letting them have this easy. Is the gap going to get created? And the gap looks like it is. No. Sexas out of the saddle looks to be struggling here. 34.4k to go. 400 metres to the top. Sexas looks to be weaving all over the road. They're right over the face of Evenepoel and Tadej Pogačar. But this is crazy. Oh, 300 metres to the top. The gap from them two to whoever's in third is... Oh my God. The gap. Skelmos have been caught. Has he been caught? I don't know if he has been caught, so I don't know if he's in the middle, but the gap from... Wow. This is night and day here. Pogačar out of the saddle again, 90 metres to the top. But Paul Sexas, gritting his teeth together, sat in second wheel, sat on the wheel of the best rider in the world, and he's staying with him on the Côte de la Redoute. As he gets out of the saddle again for a final attack, no gap, he's still on his wheel. Come on, Sexas. He's out of the saddle himself. This is crazy. That's them. They're over the top together. And looks like it's going to be a group of two to whatever, whenever Tadej Pogačar decides to attack again, because the shape Paul Sexas is in, I'm not expecting an attack from him. But 33.8k to go, and I'm glad someone was able to go with Pogačar. This is crazy. This is nuts. There's no gap up yet. Let me see if PCS have a time. No, there's no way that's the time. They're saying 11 seconds. It looks like it's a minute. On the descent now, Paul Sexas is going to try and get every inch of recovery possible for this one. But there's the peloton over the top as well. There's Bobby. Hello, Bobby. Paul Sexas will win the sprint finish. The gap is monstrous. Paul Sexas moves to the front, so they seem to be working together. Yep, there's still 2 climbs to go, but the final climb as well. What a Skelmose here. They're showing the gap from Skelmose to them two is 22 seconds. Who did look good in the Amstel Gold race, but was unfortunate not to be able to go with them two. He got 5th at Watchalong, but what do you say? Like what? The attack from Pogačar and the follow from Saxas. Crazy. I think at this point now, after this race, Remco's leading the chasing group with Mauro Schmidt, Giulio Ciccone, Johannesson. But Saxas still at the front, Pogačar in second wheel. Pogačar wearing the black armband. That's from his former teammate there who sadly passed away. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? It was one of the 2 days, but it was very sad news for that. And it came from a crash as well, in which he got an infection. And that is how it happened. Sad, like. They haven't got the time yet for the Remco group. We can just pretend this was Remco's master plan. And as soon as I seen I put my prediction up, saying Remco's gonna win it, and then I seen all the news that came out that he was talking shit on Saxas, saying he's not going to survive the last hour. And the first thing that came to my mind was the thing he said about Vingegaard saying he doesn't have the balls to race, and then Vingegaard literally passed him on the time trial on that mountain. I thought, you're kidding. Why open your mouth? Why say anything? Why would you say anything? Skelmose is still out on his own. The group chasing have yet to catch them. Let me see, has PCS got the names? They've got 7 names in the group chasing, so it's Evenepoel, Ciccone, Ben Tollett, Ian Izagirre, Buitrago, Johannesson and Philippe Ozana. Bernal's in it as well. That's good to see. Bernal's in it. Mauro Schmidt finally to the front. Well, after seeing Mauro Schmidt in the... What was it? I think he rode Amstel. And then he showed a lot of good signs in the Watchalong there, getting second. Jai Hindley's supposedly in it as well. Roman Gregoire. All the names are updating now. So Evenepoel, Jai Hindley, Ciccone, Ben Tollett, Mauro Schmidt, Ian Izagirre, Buitrago, Pello Bilbao, Roman Gregoire, Egan Bernal, Johannesson, Philippe Ozana. And I think there's still a bit more to come through. Pogačar now at the front. He moves to the front. 30 kilometers to go in this race, and we're down to the final 2. This is crazy. I think with this performance now, I think the pressure is on Decathlon to send him to the Tour. I think there'll be a lot of pressure from French media to send him to this Tour de France. I was going to wait to see how he did in Liège, and if he did do well, I was going to say that, but I think the pressure is on Decathlon now to send him there. And I think he's most likely going to end up going to the Tour de France, which, I mean, I don't agree with, but what does my opinion mean? There is the peloton in the distance on Skelmose, so he will get caught in the end here. He's 27 seconds from the front. Or 27 seconds from Pogačar and Saxas. And he's looking over his shoulder. I think he's going to sit up here and wait on this peloton. Or not even peloton. I'll call it the peloton because, yeah, it's pretty big. He's too young for the Tour. I agree with you. I agree with you, Steve. I think... but I just think with... At the moment, the results he's the results he's pulling off at Flesh, getting first, and now he's proven here that we didn't know he could do it at Strada because he tried to catch up with Pogačar in Strada and got dropped, and he's done it in Liege Bastogne Liege. He's just held the wheel with Pogačar on an attack after winning Flesh Wallon. I think UAE will be getting the checkbook out, and with a lot of zeros at the end of it. Totally agree. The pressure is... I don't even think the pressure's on Sexas anymore. I think the pressure's on the team. Obviously, Sexas will still have some pressure, but after this race, because this is the only race left on his schedule, on PCS that is, Evenepoel's at the front here, out of the saddle. 40 seconds is the gap on those two, but Liege Bastogne Liege is the last race on Sexas's calendar here. He's nothing after this, so if they announced at the start of the season Paul Sexas is riding the Vuelta, then obviously this form you'd go, right, okay, but because there's nothing there, they haven't said what he's going to ride. The pressure is, it's going to be, I hope they don't send him to the Tour. I would love to see him in the likes of a Vuelta and just dominate at La Vuelta and then go into the Tour, and then it's like, right, he's proven he can ride 3 weeks here, and he's proven he can do the big climbs in a Grand Tour. Would you send him to the Giro? Would that not be too soon? No, but I suppose on the form he's at the moment. But I think 3 weeks after all the work he's done at the moment at 19 might be a bit much. The young lad needs to take time to develop and mature. Yep, 100%. Hope he doesn't go to UAE. In any case, they're going to be broke soon with that. The French have a hit song about... Yeah, no, I seen that on Instagram, so I've... Remco Evenepoel now attacking... Oh no, it's Jai Hindley. Jai Hindley attacking off the front group now. Say no to... He's only a couple of years older than you. It's crazy when you put it into perspective, like. But Jai Hindley is attacking off the front here with what seems to be Roman Gregoire and Tobias Halln-Johannesson trying to follow. But the gap is 47 seconds for this group, and it is a fairly big group. But another thing with Sexas staying at Decathlon, I've seen quite a lot of people speak about it, is the tax that the French riders get for riding in a French team. They get taxed a lot. So they do. So if Decathlon want to give what UAE are offering, they'll need to go like a couple million more, because by the time the tax comes off, then they're given what UAE are offering. So it costs Decathlon a lot more. But I mean, if I was Decathlon, I would be doing everything in my power to keep this kid. Everything. Yeah, Sex has. I've seen comments on, like, when he was riding the Atsulia, and he said cycling is just a game to him. He can take the pressure, but the media are a different ball game, and when it comes to French media, it is a different story. Like, especially for a French rider. Yeah, I think if he does go to UAE, it will be heartbreaking. Like, it will break a lot of French hearts. But I mean, if he goes to UAE and then goes to win the Tour de France, I think all will be healed. But This chasing group here, which is 49 seconds down at the moment, is all over the show. I don't think anyone really... There's 4 riders off the front. Jai Hindley, Peo Bilbao. I thought it was Roman Gregoire, but it's Quinten Pascher and Tobias Allen Johannesson. So Tobias Allen Johannesson again doing well. He obviously didn't do the best in Watchalong as he crashed in it, which was unfortunate. I was hoping he did do a bit well, but he didn't in the end after a crash on a descent. But he's back at it here again in Liege Bastogne Liege. There's another group trying to catch this Tobias Johannesson group with 3 riders. Is that 2 Bahrain riders? Mauro Schmidt is definitely one of them. No, it's a quick step rider. So who was a quick? It is either Steph Kras van Sevenen or Zana. And then the other rider is Santiago Buitrago. If it showed the number, I didn't look at the number. 51 seconds. The gap is now 24.5 kilometers to go. But that is what is up next. They've got the name of Buitrago in this second group. But it is... Camera here back on Sexas and Pogačar, with Sexas at the front, Pogačar on his wheel. 1 kilometer here until the top of the Côte de Forges. It is 1.3 kilometers long, has an average of 6.8%. The steepest section is 13%. But this, it's master and apprentice. This is, that's what I'm going to go with. I'll go with master and apprentice, even though they're at different teams, but yeah, Pidcock is pretty good in the interviews because he's like really monotone. Like when he's in an interview, you always see the comments. Like I've seen, what was it, the Strada Bianchi interview he did with TNT after. All the comments on it were like, "Crack a smile, Pidcock. You know, don't look so happy," because he just says it as it is, with no emotion on his face, and he gives like short answers, which is probably the perfect way to deal with the media. Right, so have we got the names? We do. Yeah, so it is Jai Hindley, Mauro Schmidt, Santiago Buitrago, Peo Bilbao, Quinten Pascher, Tobias Allen Johannesson, and Filippo Zana. They are the 7 riders in pursuit of Pogačar and Sexas, 50 seconds down the road. Pogačar and Sexas 400 meters until the top of the Côte des Forges, or the Côte des Forges, or whatever way it's said in French. But the crowd here on the road, I'm sure they'll be buzzing to see someone with Pogačar for once. PCS are also saying Skelmoza and Bernal are off in a group of 2, trying to catch his group of 7. But Remco, I'm very shocked that Remco Evenepoel didn't have literally had nothing in him. Well, he wasn't a breakaway. I'm trying to think of excuses for him here at the moment. He wasn't a breakaway. He was pulling at the front of the breakaway. I did think that was pretty strange. Like when he did lose Nico Denz in the first part of the race when they were up the road, he lost his teammate in Nico Denz, and then he went to the front of the first part of the peloton and, you know, decided to do some work, which I thought was sort of weird, seeing it was obvious they were going to get caught. Kian Uterbrooks is still there, but it did show the Evenepoel group. It was on them there as I was saying that, but they're all over the road. Everyone's attacking. No one knows what's going on, but there's a group of 7 up the road. Egan Bernal looks like he's going to catch this group of 7, but there's another group behind. I'm rooting for Mauro, but I would love to see Hindley get a good result. Yeah, it would be very deserved of Hindley. Very good teammate. So it would be good to see. I think if it goes like this, I think Roman, the group is a lot bigger now. Ian Izagiri is about to bridge across a massive group here. I think that includes Remco. But that is the Côte des Forges, or the Côte de Forge. Done. Schmidt is having he's having one hell of a season. Like a very, very good season. His worst position was in the Brabantse, but he got 49th in it. But the guy who won it, Anders, what do you call him? Anders Foldager, was it? Yeah, Anders Foldager said Mara Schmidt let him out on the climb, so he even did his part there in leading out in the final kilometre. So he did. Yep, Johnny, I agree. It's going to be like the Strada Bianchi, where there was the 5 riders up the road and they got caught by a bigger group and they all just continued to look at each other and nothing happened. So I wasn't really expecting them. There's the group now up to 1 minute and 3 seconds. It was sitting about 49. Now it's 1 minute and 3, so it's over the minute marker now. And with the 26 riders in this group, Evenepoel, Hindley, Leo Bissou from Decathlon, Skelmoser, Ciccone, Ben Tullett, Schmidt, O'Connor, Bodin, Ian Izagiri, Buitrago, Peo Bilbao, Roman Gregoire, Quinten Pasher, Egan Bernal, Shab Poussin, Christian Scaroni, Tobias Hallen Johannesson, Kian Utebrooks, Steph Kras, Van Seven, and Filippo Zanna. Marco Frigo is still there. Leonard Van Etfeldt is still, that's good to see. Verstringen and De Bruyne. They're the 26. Yeah, not a mission. They're closing that gap at all. Not a mission. But one more climb left to go. One more climb stands in the way. The Côte de la Roche of Faucon. That is the last climb. 1.3 kilometers, average at 10%, and it is arriving in the next 6 kilometers. They hit the foot of it. Exactly 20 kilometers to go now. 19.9. That is how long is left. I would. There's a lot of riders in this chasing group. I would love to get the podium. To get the podium at this race, there's a lot, and it's a shame there's a lot, because then I can't pick who I would like to get it. I think if I had to pick, I'd probably go with it. I think Egan Bernal getting third would be massive. So it would. Like it, especially after his previous, see, even him being here in this group is crazy to me. Like, he's barely even raced this season. I think he had a knee injury there most recently, so he had to pull out of a lot of races. I was just checking, he's only rode this race once before, in which he got 21st in. That was in 2024. But he rode the Fawn Ardèche Classic at the end of February, and that was him until the end of April there, where he rode the Tour of the Alps, in which he even shocked me getting second in GC, and he got 3 top 5s at it. So I would love to see him get the podium. Camera's on the Sexas group, who's still at the front, so he's still working with Pogačar. And every time the camera is on them, it is Sexas at the front. 65 kilometers an hour they're going down this descent here towards the final climb. Now you go the youngest winner. The youngest winner of this race will not be Paul Sexas if he does win it. It's Victor Fastre from Belgium. He won it in 1909. So Pogačar, or if Paul Sexas does win this, he'll be the youngest winner in the past over 100 and I'm going to say over 100 years. I don't even want to try and work it out. Will he? 19, second place is 19 years old and 102 days. So what is Sexas? Oh no, he'll be third. He'll be 1925. So Paul Sexas is 214 days. So he will actually go third. So he'll be the youngest winner in 101 years, pretty much, if he wins this. So he will. That even still, that is a crazy stat as well, because he was the youngest winner of the Flèche Wallonne. But as soon as this race is over, all eyes will be on decathlon and Paul Sexas to see what is next. $16 kilometers to go. The gap, the Evenepoel and that group is now a minute and 27 seconds. A 19-year-old guy producing this. Very controversial topic there. For the meantime, I'm going to choose to sit out of that conversation. But 15.3 kilometers as the gap now hits a minute and 30 for Group Evenepoel. And the next climb is almost upon us. Let me see if I can. Say about a bit less than a kilometer to go before the Roche of Faucon. Hate putting on the French accent. It just seems really weird. Over the bridge. Look at the view. Groupama have 3 riders in this chasing group as Tadej Pogačar attacks on the left-hand side, 1.3. As soon as they hit the final climb, Tadej Pogačar out of the saddle, puts the attack in. He is not letting Paul Sexas have a chance in the sprint. He wants to drop him here on the final climb, but Tadej Pogačar at the front, weaving round the corners. Paul Sexas still on his wheel. He's in the saddle now, Tadej Pogačar out of the saddle, but Paul Sexas is stuck to him like glue. Showing the camera here from behind them, both of them bobbing and weaving. But this is 1.1 kilometers to the top. They hit the 1 kilometer banner for this final climb in Liege Bastogne Liege. But Tadej Pogačar is out of the saddle. This is crazy. Pogačar out of the saddle again, 900 meters to the top. Sexas out of the saddle every time Pogačar's out of the saddle, Sexas out of the saddle as well. But look at the crowd. Look at the crowd. I'm sure they're all shocked to see Pogačar still has someone with him, and that person with him is the youngest person at this race, Paul Sexas. But Pogačar out of the saddle. As soon as Pogačar sits down, Paul Sexas sits down. It's brilliant. 700 meters to go, 14 kilometers left in this race. There's the Slovenian flags out. But this is the fact he's still staying with him. I hope a gap isn't created here. He's come this far, 13.9. I hope there's no... Oh, no! 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 The gap, 600 meters, and Paul Sexas just, he's done. The tank has emptied. He's hit a standstill. He has hit the limit. Pogačar out of the saddle, goes off. Literally, it just split second. He just hit the wall. A minute and 44 in the Evenepoel group, but Paul Sexas, fair play to him. This is some performance, but he's human. It is. Breaking news: Paul Sexas is in fact human. 300 meters to the top, and Tadej Pogačar is, I think he's still out of the saddle, attacking to the top. He's not just dropping him, he's knocking him out here. LA Pog. Pogačar looks like he's going to win it for the third time in a row. The gap is now 15 seconds. They've got a gap of 15, 16 seconds from Sexas to Pogačar. As Little Trek are leading Evenepoel. No, not leading Evenepoel. They're leading the Evenepoel group, leading the peloton, onto the Côte de la Roche of Faucon, as all the crowd onto the road here with a minimal gap for Paul Sexas to get through. As Paul Sexas has given it everything here. He's out of the saddle. He's not letting up. But he has hit the limit. So he has. If he keeps a small gap, he could catch back up in Liège. That would be a lot to ask. Especially here, there is a descent, and Sexas is pretty good at those. But Pogačar has crossed the top of this climb. Sexas is just about to cross the top. The gap is 27 seconds now. 230 meter gap between the two of them. But Sexas crosses the top. Another Pogačar. I might go find a snack. Well, here we go. The battle for third. Leknesson drops off the back, but Skelmoza puts in an attack at this group. Anyone able to go with him? Filippo Zana looks like he's going. Jai Hindley is in third. Cian Uterbrooks, I can see towards the middle-ish back, but Alex Bodin is there as well. Ian Izagiri. Is that Evenepoel or is that... No, it's Jai Hindley. Evenepoel is in no man's land. Where's Evenepoel? There he is there. Evenepoel's done. What happened to him in this race? 2-minute gap it is now. Paul Sexas is 23 seconds, but Skelmoza is still on fire for him. There's a guy, that show, Asterix and Obelix. What did you call the big guy on it? He's dressed as him. Skelmoza here is out of the saddle. He looks to be gapping the rest, and this is a Skelmoza continuing the great form, and I'm glad to see it. Obelix, is it? But Skelmoza here gapping the rest. Cian Uterbrooks seems to be the one. Cian Uterbrooks, Alex Bodin, Filippo Zana, but there is still a big group. I'm hoping Roman Gregoire is in that. Bernal, no! Bernal's dropping. Ben O'Connor looks to be struggling as well, alongside Egan Bernal, but Skelmoza crosses the top. He's on his own. He's going to descend down. There's 11 point. I should change that actually. It still says 20k. But here we go. Front of the race. 11.5 kilometers to go, and Tadej Pogačar is on his own. Why did I find myself rooting for Pogačar? It took almost someone as good as him to make me finally appreciate his dominance. But Sexas looks to be struggling here. 31 seconds is the gap now, but you can tell he's done with the body language. Is it Belgian? I always thought it was French, because I learnt about it in French in school. I never knew it was a Belgian origin. But look at the crowd. They're not even on a climb, and the crowds are massive. There's Filippo Zana looking to catch up the Skelmoza here. He seems to have went on his own as well. Pardon me. The crowd is crazy. .28 seconds is the gap to Paul Sexas. Now this is the final climbing off. It's not a doesn't have a name or anything, but it's just the final bit of climbing they have to do. They're hitting maximums of, I don't even know what maximums they're hitting. I think they hit maximums of around 10% in the middle of the climb. Ben O'Connor is in this race, yeah. And I didn't actually know he was in this race until I said he was dropping there. Yep, it's always good to see a big crowd out and everyone's cheering. But the group here for, I think the podium is wrapped up with Skelmose. If he can keep that gap, it'll be pretty good. So, but we're getting a massive group in here fighting for top 10. There's a big inflated banana there on the left-hand side of the road. And is that an apple? What is it with the fruit? Or is that a tomato? I think it's an apple. But Pogačar, 10 kilometers to go now, or 10.2. But look at the crowds. Not even on a climb, and the crowds are massive. The camera now back on Paul Sexas, whose gap is now 36 seconds. So it is Paul Sexas is just passing the big inflated banana now. And he's got the apple next. Skelmose, you can see the group chasing him in the distance. Jai Hindley at the front. $9.6k to go. Skelmose is 2 minutes down on Pogačar. The Evenepoel group is 2:17. So it's in at about 17-18 seconds is the gap from Evenepoel and co to a podium spot. But the cameras are just chopping and changing between Pogačar, Sexas and Skelmose. And there's the group chasing Skelmose, and now they're showing a helicopter shot. And there's actually a gap being created. Jai Hindley, Johannesson, Roman Gregoire, Ian Izagiri, Ben Tullett, is that Scaroni, and Bodin. There's a gap being created for those riders I just mentioned, those 7 riders. Who is that for? What was I thinking? What rider was I talking about? Oh, it is Scaroni. Sorry, it was the Astana rider. It is Scaroni. 8.5 kilometers now. And as you can see from the start of the day, that was the favourites on the right hand side of the screen, and the bookies did get it relatively correct, with Pogačar being the favourite, Paul Sexas second, and then you would just have to flip Skelmose and Evenepoel. Well, enjoy that in half an hour, shall I? 8 kilometers left. Let's change that to that. But Quickstep do have quite a lot of riders. Well, they have 3 riders. They have the most in the whole chasing group. I'm surprised they don't have any of them at the front. Those 3 riders are obviously Zana, Van Sevenen, and Steph Kras. Alpecin have 2 riders. Astana have 2. Groupama have 2. Bahrain 2. Jayco 2. And Red Bull 2. The rest have 1. But I'm still very surprised Marco Frigo is in this group. Is he still? I don't think he is. I didn't see it. PCS says he's in the group, but I didn't see the NSN jersey there from the helicopter camera. Is he there? I zoomed in, I didn't get to see. Oh, Remco's shouting. Remco is shouting at Alex Boudin. Remco's at the front. An attack on the right-hand side of the road now by, who is that? I think it's Bissou, Leo Bissou of Decathlon, but Remco... Remco finally cracked. He turned around and he shouted at Alex Boudin. Oh, brilliant. I thought he was going to go a full race without doing it, but he has done it. I wonder what I would love to see what the odds were for that, for Remco to shout at someone. I think it was because I just quick glance on the left and looked back, and I just seen Remco turn around on the bike, throw his hand up and say something to Boudin. It must have been because he wasn't taking a turn. But he can't be mad at anything, so he can't. He's the one that talked all the smack, and he ended up being in the exact position Paul Sexas. He said Paul Sexas was going to be in. Somebody needs it. Exactly. When you're in a group with Remco, everyone rides for Remco, no matter the team. Six kilometers to go now, and I think first place is. I think it's fairly wrapped up. Paul Sexas is now 52 seconds down. Skelmoza is 2 minutes and 11 down. If you are just joining him, Paul Sexas and Tadej Pogačar both went together on the La Redoute. Then on the Côte de la Roche au Faucon, Sexas hit a wall, and that was it done. And Tadej Pogačar goes solo, but Paul Sexas, an unreal ride from himself. I know that no respect for tradition at all, Kat. Vingegaard must be watching absolutely terrified. Yeah, he got flashbacks from the Catalunya. Verstringen now attacks out the front on Alpecin. That was a tight corner there on that roundabout. But Skelmoza 2:15 and Group Evenepoel is 2:21, so the battle for third is still on. And I wonder who's going to get it here. I would like to see Skelmoza. Well, obviously, I would love to see Skelmoza. It'd be good for him to continue and get third, but obviously, for my entertainment watching this, I want to see the group catch him and a big sprint for third. But in the Evenepoel group, everything looks to be back to normal, and everyone seems to be riding for Evenepoel again. What's the next race I am covering? I will be covering the Tour de Romandy next week. That's next week, so I'll be doing all stages of it. And then I will also be doing the Eschborn Frankfurt as well, which is next week as well, as the Tour de Romandy is going on. And then after that, we have the... Oh, apology, I didn't mean to hit the... I forgot the mic was attached to the desk, but the next one is the Giro d'Italia, the first Grand Tour. So they're the next three. So if you do want to stay up to date, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video as well. Much appreciated. But they're the next three races. But the next race is the Tour de Romandy on Tuesday. Actually, is it a time trial? Because if it's a time trial, I don't know. It's a prologue. Yeah, it might be where I might be back on Wednesday. I don't really think a 3 kilometer prologue is gonna. I might just watch it from a distance, to be honest. But yeah, I will be back on Wednesday, so I will. I think Eunice going to the Giro is. I don't know, Kat. I don't know. He said the only reason he's riding the Giro is because he over the past couple of years he's realised that he's had his best performance in his second Grand Tour according to numbers. That's what he said. But that is, he's hoping to have the better numbers for the Tour de France, and with the form he's on at the moment, I hope he can carry on in the Giro and obviously to the Tour de France, because it will make it a lot more exciting. But we've got 2.5 kilometers to go in the Liege Bastogne Liege. So we do. He did indeed. I was speaking about that earlier, Johnny. He did win in Turkey. He got first with a very good sprint. He came out of nowhere on the right hand side as well. Quintana's going to beat. But Remco is at the front. Skelmoza has been caught, and Remco is at the front of this group, leading to hopefully get a third place. Hopefully he doesn't flick the elbow, because no one's going to come through and they end up shouting again. But 1.8 kilometers to go for Tadej Pogačar. I'm going to change this to 1k just because... Yeah, just change that to 1k. So it's 1.6 kilometers to go. Tadej Pogačar is out the front with Paul Sexas 55 seconds down the road. And yeah. Words are only good if you can back them up. Shares your first name. I don't even want to try and pronounce your first name. It looks it looks quite confusing to pronounce. But Tadej Pogačar hits the 1 kilometer banner now for the 112th edition of Liege Bastogne Liege, as he goes on to win his third monument of the year already. His fifth race of the season. First in Strade Bianche, first in Milan-San Remo, first in the Tour of Flanders, second in the Paris-Roubaix, and he gets first at Liege Bastogne Liege this year. What can you do? Saljuk. Right, okay, very good. But Tadej Pogačar, what can you what can you say? Like, as much as we hate watching him win, we are witnessing modern day history for the sport of cycling. Like, it is just genuinely crazy that he's rode 5 races this year. 4 of them are monuments, and he hasn't finished lower than second place. There he goes, hands in the air, points to the sky again. Obviously paying homage to his teammate that, I assume paying homage to his teammate that sadly passed away there. Or his former teammate. But here comes Paul Sexas. In second place. A brilliant performance from Paul Sexas, continuing the great form, but it has been proved by Tadej Pogačar that Paul Sexas is in fact human, as he drops him on the final climb, and Paul Sexas hits a wall and runs out of steam. But what a performance. 42, 43, 43 seconds he finishes down on Tadej Pogačar. He gets second in a monument. Crazy. There he goes. Sexas gets a hug from Tadej Pogačar. And here we go. The battle for third is on. Who will get the final podium spot in Liege Bastogne Liege? Quickstep have a rider with a small gap on the second rider from Bahrain, who has a small gap on the rest of them. Remco is coming up in third position. Egan Bernal is back in this group. He never dropped, actually. I forgot about it. He never dropped. Remco Evenepoel launches the sprint. He launches for third. Anyone able to go with him? Egan Bernal is on his wheel. Come on, Egan. Get him. Get him. Go around him. Nah, it doesn't look like he's going to get caught. Roman Gregoire is coming up the left-hand side of Egan Bernal, but Remco is not letting up here on the sprint. Egan Bernal sits up. Remco's taking third spot, and Remco gets third. So he had enough for the sprint. He just didn't have enough for the rest of the day. But that is the top 3. The top three is exactly as the bookies predicted it. Pogačar in first, Paul Sexas in second, and Remco in third. I will wait for the top 10 as always. But if you are heading off, thanks for joining me. I'm not heading off, but if you are leaving the stream, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll be back on Wednesday for the Tour of Romandy. And don't forget to like the video as well. It's much appreciated. Oh, yes. Thank you, Shelley. Hats off to Taddy. Indeed, indeed. Yep. Agreed. Agreed, Cat. Yes, see it, Romandy Steve. Yeah, the podium, all the pictures of the podium, they will be shared about for the next couple of days. Aye, no doubt. Paul Sexas is going to the moon. Pretty much invest in Paul Sexas now because he's going to the moon. Hopefully the top 10 isn't too long to gather. PCS are usually quite good, but it can take them quite a while. Oh. What a great stream is. I mute the Peacock commentary and listen to you. Thank you very much, Stephanie. That is very, very appreciated. See you later, Joe. If I don't see you, Tour de Romandy, good luck in the GCSEs. Yes, I'll have a wee break now. A wee 2-day break and watch the prologue. Oh, here we go. Top 10. Top 10. Here we go. So Tadej Pogačar obviously finishes in first. 45 seconds down in second. Paul Sexas. And then 1:42 down. Remco Evenepoel gets in third. Verstringe of Alpecin in fourth. Egan Bernal picks up fifth. Pello Bilbao in his final race at the Liege Bastogne Liege. Obviously he's retiring at the end of the season. He picks up sixth. Roman Gregoire finishes in seventh place. Seventh place. Christian Scaroni gets eighth. Tobias Hallen Johannesson picks up another top 10 and he finishes in 9th, and Philippe Ozana for Quickstep finishes in 10th. So that is a very solid top 10 for Liege Bastogne Liege and a very good race indeed. But yeah, that is the fourth monument done. The fifth one is not to the end of the season. So like always, if you have joined me from the start, very much appreciated. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe as well. But yeah, another performance. Thanks, Kat. Brilliant race. Thank you, Ian. But yeah, all the best, Robbie. And yeah, Pello Bilbao in sixth. Yeah, very good performance for him. But yes, I guess I'll not be doing the prologue for the Romandy, but I will be back on Wednesday for the Tour of Romandy, where Tadej Pogačar does return, and a lot of other GC riders are returning as well. But thank you very much for watching the Final K. If you have been from the start, I do appreciate it. But yeah, thanks for watching the Final K, and all the best.